You took some of your garments to make gaudy high places where you carried on your prostitution. You went to him and he possessed your beauty. You also took the fine jewelry I gave you, the jewelry made of my gold and silver, and you made yourself male idols and engaged in prostitution with them. And you took your embroidered clothes to put on them, and you offered my oil and incense before them. Also, the food I provided for you, the flour, the olive oil, the honey I gave you to eat, you offered as fragrant incense before them. That is what happened, declares Yahuwah. And you took your sons and daughters whom you bore to me and sacrificed them as food to the idols. Was your prostitution not enough? You slaughtered my children, sacrificed them to idols, and all your detestable practices and your prostitution. You did not remember the days of your youth when you were naked and bare, kicking about in your blood. Now, who are we talking about here? We are talking about Jerusalem. So in Ezekiel chapter 16, it is an extended allegory in which Jerusalem is likened to an abandoned child whom Yah raises up, but who later turns to idolatry and adultery. The allegory is meant to illustrate Israel's relationship with Yahuwah. So once again, we see that Jerusalem is the people. The people shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Isaiah 52 verse 2 says, free yourself from the chains on your neck. Who? Talking to the city or talking to the people? It says, O daughter of Zion, now held captive. What you're seeing is Jerusalem taking the chains off their neck. Gabon is taking the chains off their neck. Burkina Faso is taking the chains off their neck. Mali is taking the chains off their neck. This is the people. This is the prophecies coming to pass. Oh, I know. See, here's the thing. The woman, she was given everything. She was given gold and jewelries and rings. She was given all of this. Now think of the allegories. Think of the symbology. Israel as a nation was given all of this wealth, given all of the land, given the promised land, given the gold. Africa has the gold, they have the silver, they have the bauxite, they have the uranium, they have the arable land, they have the fresh water. They're given everything. They had all of this and rejected Yahuwah. See, and in this allegory, Jerusalem was synonymous with a woman who was a bride to the king, because when she became of age, he married her. But she became a whore. She gave all of these nations access to her love. All of these nations she whored around with. All of these nations she sacrificed her idols to their gods. She gave her children to their children. They married their children when they were told not to marry their children. Don't give your sons to their daughters. Don't give your daughters to their sons. But they went and did it. Israel became a whore. But once again, we see that the allegory is of the people. The people is removing the chains from their neck. I told you that Israel is the people and where the people live, and that is sub-Saharan Africa, all the way from the Niger River, all the way over to Tigray, all the way to Ethiopia. All of that is the land of Israel. I told you, I showed you the videos, I've done it, the land, but it's the people. The people are Jerusalem. They are the daughter of Zion, the offspring of Zion. Zechariah 12, 2-3. Behold, I will make Jerusalem. Let's look at this from the viewpoint of it being a people. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut into pieces, though all people of the earth be gathered together against it. Now, think, excuse me. Think of this from the viewpoint of what's happening in Africa today. Think of this from the viewpoint of the nations surrounding, trying to get our resources. So Zechariah talks about making Jerusalem a cup of trembling to all the surrounding people. While it mentions the physical location, which it does, the context shows it also speaks about the people who dwell there. So it's also talking about the people, just like we saw in Micah, just as we saw in Ezekiel. Even though I skipped Micah, that's right. I did talk about Micah, but my bad. I forgot my mic went down. I'll go back to Micah. All right, but we see in Zechariah that it is synonymous also with the people who live in Jerusalem. So when we see these prophecies, right, can you not see right now that there is a battle? And I'm not saying this is the full fulfillment of this prophecy, but if we look at Jerusalem as being the people, we can see that now the nations have an interest in Africa, right? Why? For her resources, for her gold, for her uranium, for her bauxite, for her oil, for her land, for those jewels that the Most High gave to his people. He gave her the gold rings and the gold earrings and the ring in her nose. So Micah, the mountain of Yahuwah, in the last days, the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established. As the highest of the mountains, it will be exalted above the hills, and peoples will stream to it. Many nations will come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the temple of our Elohim of Jacob. He will teach us his ways so that we will walk in his paths. The law will go out from Zion, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. That's Micah. Micah 4, 1-2. So the prophet talks about the mountain of the house of the Lord being established and people flowing to it. Again, this is more about the people and their relationship with God than their geographical location. We see this all throughout the scriptures. We'll talk about Jerusalem as a city and as a location, but it's synonymous with the people. Just as we saw in Ezekiel 16, Jerusalem was synonymous with the people who ended up going a whoring. So the people are going to be oppressed or trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And then what will happen? They will take the yoke off their neck. Why? Because the Most High said, free yourself from the chains on your neck, daughter of Zion, now a captive, Isaiah 52. Free yourself. That's what they're doing. They're not taking Africa back again. Revelation 21, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yah out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So Jerusalem is a city, which is synonymous with the people, as we saw, adorned as a bride. Just as we saw in Ezekiel 16 of the baby who was taken out of the dirt and out of the blood and made a beautiful woman to marry the king, and she went a whoring. But now Jerusalem, which is synonymous with the people, who she now becomes a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yah is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yah himself shall be with them and be their Elohim. So now the Most High is living amongst his people in a location called Jerusalem, but the people are Jerusalem. And Yah will wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So Revelation 21 talks about a new Jerusalem coming down from heaven. While it describes a place, and it does describe a place, it is clear that this also symbolizes the people of Yah in their perfected state. So you keep sticking with the interpretation of the Gentiles and see how far that gets you, while prophecy is happening right before your eyes right now, because Israel or Jerusalem, the people, are taking the yoke off their neck. Isaiah 40, verse 1-2, comfort my people, says Yahuwah. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and proclaim to her that her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from Yahuwah's hand double for all her sins. Oh yeah, we had it, we got it. But now It's the end of the judgments. It's the end of our judgment. The yoke is being taken off of our necks. The Most High is showing favor to his people. So Isaiah 40, verse 1 to 2, it says, comfort my people, says Yahuwah. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem. Here, speaking tenderly to Jerusalem clearly means to comfort the people of Israel. Speaking, because you're not going to speak to a city, you're speaking to a people. Speak tenderly to her. It means comfort the people of Israel. Comfort my people, says Yahuwah. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and proclaim to her. Remember, she's a bride. She's the woman. She's the woman that went a whoring, and she's the one that becomes the perfected bride. That her hard service, why? She went into captivity. She went into captivity. That her hard service is now complete. What? Her hard service is now complete. They will fall by the edge of the sword and be taken as prisoners to all nations, or can we say captives, slaves. Jerusalem will be trampled or oppressed by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. We're talking about the people. Her hard service, her captivity has been completed.